Hello students, today we will be going over 7.3, solving compound inequalities. Our objective, I can solve multi-step inequalities and compound inequalities and give solutions as graphs and intervals, okay? Now when we talk about graph, we just mean a number line. We don't mean the XY axis. That will come later. All right, so for example, here they give you an and intersection, and it's generally going to be in between like that. And there's your interval. If it's an or, like there's your problem, you solve it, and then you have the graph, and then you have a union usually between the two intervals right there. Okay. All right. So next thing, we're going to go ahead and do number 1. 8r is greater than negative 56. Also remember, when solving inequalities, if you divide or multiply by a negative number, you have to switch the sign. So 8r is greater than negative 56. I'm going to divide by 8. Even though that's a negative number, then what we actually divide by is not negative, so we don't change the sign. We say r is greater than negative 7. Or we're going to solve for r over here. And again, make sure you put your sign. R, that's not a minus sign, so we leave it just plain R, is less than or equal to negative 10. Okay, so make sure you know this is an or. So R is greater than negative 7. So negative 7 right here. And it's an open dot. See, it has less ink shaded to the right. Or R is less than or equal to closed dot at negative 10, shaded to the left. And there you have the graph. Now for the interval, let's try the red marker, see if that's any better. We're going to say it goes from negative infinity to negative 10. Does it include 10? Yes, that should be a solid thing, okay, because it's or equal to. Union, start at negative 7, doesn't include negative 7, and goes to positive infinity. And again, the infinities are always parentheses like that. Okay? And we're done with number 1. Let's go on to number 2. That was so much fun. 8n minus 2 is less than 62, and 1 plus 4n is greater than negative 11. So we're going to solve for n. I'm going to put a line down the inequality sign. Add 2. 8n is less than 64. Divide by 8. N is less than 8. Okay. So then we go on to the other one. Solve for n here. We go minus 1. For n is greater than negative 12. Divide by 4. Again, the number we're dividing by is not negative. Even if the one on the top is, we still do not change the sign. N is greater than negative 3. So this is an and. Okay, n is less than 8. Open dot. And n is greater than negative 3, also open dot. Okay. So again, and ones are generally going to be just in between. So we say negative 3 is not included, so it's parentheses. 8 is not included, so it's also parentheses. And in general, and ones are just one interval like that. And that's it. Remember, or ones have 2. Okay? We're going on to number 3 here. R divided by 3 is greater than or equal to negative 2, and R over 5 is less than or equal to 2. So to get R by itself, we're going to multiply by 3 on both sides. Do we change the sign? No, because what we multiply by is not negative. That crosses out. So we go R is greater than or equal to negative 6. And solve here, multiply by 5 here. R is less than or equal to 10. Okay, now they both have the or equal to, so I can put -6 here. Can you see that okay? And it goes up to 10. And they're both closed dots and shaded in between. Interval goes between -6, and it's included, and the numbers are included, so it's brackets instead of parentheses. And we're done with that one. Okay. I think I'm going to let you do number 4 on your own, and I'm going to do one on the back side, and it's going to be an and it's a little more challenging. Okay. All right. So now we have and. Which is the intersection, or also the upside down U. Okay. So when we have an inequality that's all together, we're going to go ahead and break it apart and put and in between. We're going to write this half and write it here. So we'll break it off right here, and then we write it again, breaking it off right there. So we have 2 of these, and we just solve each of them. Okay, so actually I'm not going to do that one. I'll go ahead and do number 5, and I'm going to break it up into 2 equations. -14 is less than -6 plus a. So I break it off right there. And then I'm also going to break it off there where -6 plus a is less than or equal to -7. Put a line down the inequality. Add 6 to both sides. Okay, now I like the variable to be on the left, so I'm going to switch it. And when I switch it, I have to flip the sign, so it's going to be is greater than -8. And now I'll finish this. Add 6. A is less than or equal to -1. So you have A is greater than -8, and A is less than or equal to -1. So we're going to graph that on the number line. -8, open dot, because that's or greater than. And then -1, that's a closed dot because it's or equal to. And it's and, so it's greater than -8, and it's less than -1. So there you have that. Okay. I think you can do the rest of this, students. You rock.